It's time to go into business for yourself. Get ready for another episode of the Franchise Academy Podcast. Education, insight, and inspiration. Here's your host, small business and franchise expert, Tom Scarda.
Welcome to another episode of the Franchise Academy and our special podcast called Franchise Frontrunners. Today I have Franchise Frontrunners with me, Dennis and Trisha Stetzel. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having us.
Oh, this is great. You guys are regulars on my podcast now. So, so you guys also own FocalPoint Coaching. How many years have you been in FocalPoint, Trisha?
So we've had the franchise for just about 2 years, and working it every day since we came home from certification.
That's so awesome. And so, Dennis, what areas do you cover for FocalPoint business coaching?
Pretty much everything from one-to-one coaching, group coaching, training modules, navigational conversations, working with teams. So it's the full spectrum of coaching and training.
Awesome. And what areas do you cover? What territories do you own?
So actually with FocalPoint, there's not, you're only limited to your state or pre-existing relationships. So I've got people in different countries because we've had relationships there, but we're Texas based.
You're Texas based, but you actually have clients internationally?
Correct.
Wow. That's awesome. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of unique for FocalPoint. You join a particular territory, but if you have existing relationships, those relationships grow, you can go outside of the home state.
Cool. So Trisha, in your point of view, what has been your guys' greatest victory or greatest lesson learned so far?
Well, so far, from the podcast that we did before on Fetch, that this is my opportunity to have a second franchise. So for me, it's really been about the support and the support that we get back through the franchise system. That's really been the most important to me, and actually how I was engaged. Dennis brought me along to Discovery Day just to check it out because we knew that it was a franchise. And I fell in love that day with the support that Steve Thompson and his team were giving back to FocalPoint.
Great. Love that. And you mentioned Steve Lowry before, also a good friend of ours.
Yeah, he's our area rep for Texas. Yes. Yep,
Steve's a great guy. So that's send my regards, please.
Oh, very well.
So, what do you wish you knew before you got into this franchise?
I think coming out of corporate America, IBM and large logos, that type of thing, I wish I would have known how hard it is to build a brand from scratch.
Uh-huh.
You walk into a room with the IBM brand behind you, and there's a certain level of credibility and a certain persona it carries with you.
Yep.
As a new franchise owner, you have to build that brand. Now, it's great to have brand recognition, but it really revolves around you. So, you have to build it. You really do have to build it, and it takes time and it takes work.
Yeah, it does. But anything that's worth it takes time and work. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and building that trust and relationships, right, is something that you don't necessarily think about in the beginning. You're like, well, I'm just going to go sell this service and people are going to buy it. No, they don't want to buy it until they know and love and trust you, right? Yeah. Then they want to spend money with you, and it just takes time.
Well said. Yeah, there's nothing that's get rich quick or make money easily or anything like that. But those relationships last forever, and that's really a great thing. Even when people separate as clients, you still stay friends if you really did build that trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think one more thing, if I could add to it too, is following the system. You think coming out of a different life, you may know a little bit better, or you may be able to second guess the system. I think the really cool thing about FocalPoint is if you follow the system, it works. It really does work. Even if you don't necessarily maybe if you're not completely bought into it, or if you haven't experienced it, or you think just a little bit better. I think if I knew then, just follow the system. It's tried, it's true, it's been tested. Lots of people have been successful. Just follow it and ask questions of the experts and the people who are doing it.
That's it. Like, why buy a franchise and not follow the system?
Exactly.
And so many people do that, and that's where you could help them, right? As a business coach, even to help other franchise owners in other systems, because really, what it is, they're putting out fires all the time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, is there a favorite book that you would recommend to somebody right now?
I think the 3 Laws of Performance is probably my favorite. It's all about the language, the approach. It's a really, really good book for anybody that's going to be interacting with people and trying to build or maintain cultures. Like, as a coach, a lot of what we coach through is cultures and communication and messaging, and that is a fantastic book to get you started.
Love it. Trisha, anything you would add to that?
So I haven't read the book yet. He hasn't let me take it over. He takes it to bed with him, and he won't let me have it. A couple of my favorites, of course, I love the E-Myth Revisited. You and I spoke about that before. One of my other favorites is Simon Sinek, What is Your Why? And I think right now, in the day that we're living in, with things that are going on, that's a really, really great place to go back to.
So I just got it delivered on Monday, your recommendation.
Good.
So I'm gonna get into it. That's so cool. I was just gonna run off screen and get it. I realized it's in the other room. I was just gonna show the cover. So, who's your greatest mentor in franchising?
It has to be Steve Thompson, right?
Oh,
and
great.
It's not that, and it's not that we have mentoring sessions with him like every day, but he, the organization takes on the persona of its leader, and Steve is genuine. Like, Steve walks the talk. And from a coaching perspective, right, he stands in our greatness, which is what we're supposed to do with our clients. And it's just amazing. I really feel like he personifies what he's trying to get us to do, and it's great.
That's so nice, to have that kind of admiration toward the leader of your company in franchising. That's awesome. And Steve is a great guy. I know him, and I know where you're coming from. So, for you guys, what kind of advice would each of you give to someone who's thinking about a franchise right now? They're listening to this podcast, they're thinking about buying a franchise, they're not sure if they should do it. What do you advise?
So from my perspective, it's getting into something that you truly love and that you're passionate about. If you don't care for haircutting or yogurt, maybe that's not the franchise for you, and you need to find something that you're super passionate about, and make sure you do your homework. Is there support within the system? Mm-hmm. And that, to me, has been the most special about FocalPoint, is the support behind the system.
Having gone through 2 franchise startups, right, that's key, is the support system. Ask a lot of questions, listen for the answers, but also have a genuine interest in what you're getting involved with. If pets, coaching, personal performance are all things that we love, which is why the 2 franchises here work.
Right. Yeah, there's no question about it. And you don't always have to follow your passion, but you got to get into something that you're going to enjoy to do when you wake up in the morning.
Yes.
If you're a vegetarian, you probably shouldn't buy McDonald's, but you can, because you're not going to be flipping burgers. You're the CEO and the CFO, but it's got to fit your life.
And if the interest is serving people and serving them quickly, McDonald's may be great whether you're a vegan or not, right? It has to resonate in some way with you, that when you wake up in the morning, you know why you're going in, and you can cascade that to the people who are supporting you and that you're supporting.
You guys are so awesome. I just love that you work together so closely on your franchise, and it's just and you're so successful in FocalPoint. So I want to thank you for coming on. And real quickly, how can people get in touch with you personally if they have any questions for you?
You can call 281-216-4086, or you can reach out at dstetzel@focalpoint.com.
Awesome. And I'll put that on the franchiseacademy.com, franchisefrontrunner.com. And I want to thank you guys again for being on, and we will see you guys soon.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
This has been another episode of the Franchise Academy Podcast. For more info, go to our website, thefranchiseacademypodcast.com. Remember to subscribe to Tom Scarda's YouTube channel for educational videos on franchising, education, insight, and inspiration.